Okay, so I wanted to take a moment just to kind of break down what 50 Cent really did with this new documentary, because this is not about escalating beef. He elevated storytelling in this community, and I'm going to explain how. Now, everybody thinks that beef is this loud thing. We're used to diss tracks, we're used to interviews, we're used to chaos. But what happens when someone doesn't raise their voice? Instead, they raise the altitude. And that's a shift we're witnessing right now as 50 Cent in this public unraveling of Diddy. This isn't reaction culture, this is a pattern culture, and that's different. In street level conflicts, you feel conflict. It looks emotional. At 30,000 foot view, it looks more structural. And this is what 50 Cent did. It's not emotional retaliation. This is long term observation. This is pattern recognition. This is strategic timing. And this is surgical presentation. There's no chaos. There's no panic. No scrambling. No nothing. Just documentation. It's not beef. This is like a archetype of warfare. And this is where it really shifts. It shows a cultural shift that goes about dominance through aggression to this new era beef is dominance through narrative control. Who controls the timeline, has the receipts, recognizes the patterns of behavior, and has the social memory to execute it, controls the outcome. And that's what people are feeling about this without really being able to articulate it. So I wanted to kind of put this into perspective. No longer are we trusting on sound bites or viral emotions anymore. We trust in long-term evidence, repeated behaviors, cross-reference stories, and pattern consistencies. And this is why this is turning into more myth than any type of gossip. And it feels like there's an inevitability behind it. And this is what happens when the mirror finally forces you to step back to see like the full structure of what's going on and recognize the cycle and then names it systematically. So there's a lot going into what he built. And I wanted to talk about what his mindset was going into this, where his operating system for 50 Cent, what he pulls off is a mental profile that most people simply don't run on. This isn't impulsive anger. This is cold recognition. This is delayed gratification. This is narrative history, and that combination is extremely rare. He has an extremely long-term use of memory for social data. Most people forget conflicts after a few months. 50 doesn't just remember who crossed him, how they moved, who protected them, who stayed silent, who benefited. That's not just emotional memory. What he's showing is forensic memory. He stores people like files, not emotional feelings. And this delayed strike psychology, like most people need an instant clapback. They need to post, they need to react. He shows how classic delay dominance, he let years go by. He let patterns repeat. He used public perception mature. Then he moves when the structure is already cracking. All this requires high impulse control, high emotional insulation, zero need for instant validation. He didn't do any of that. He moved like a CEO predator. And this process, while building legitimate empires, is always going on. He's orchestrating this long-term narrative pressure, but he's also running his own production companies, managing talent, and executing TV and film deals, while handling brand partnerships. So he's doing a lot, but there's no emotional leakage into what he's doing. He maintained his violence through this narration. His old 50 solved his problems with threats, pressure, physical intimidation. This new 50 works in narrative framing, timing receipts, and cultural positioning. And this is going to hit a lot harder because he targeted a legacy. He went for the king of the hill like he does. He went for historical perception. He went for cultural memory, and he went for power inheritance. This is the symbolic annihilation. He's not going after ego. He's going after the very facts of it. So he shows a predator on a level we haven't seen before with remarkable storytelling skills. He's able to pull that lens back, recognize all the patterns, document, store, archive, then bring all these things together in a pretty tightly bound package. So again, brilliant storytelling. If we look at it from that standpoint and how this works into a larger piece that will be mythological, Diddy will portray an archetype that will be solidified for generations to come. 50 Cent did the same thing in terms of his storytelling. A more detailed, a more precise, a more thought-inducing idea of looking at a person like Diddy through a completely different lens than what we've been accustomed to in the past. And for that, I have to say, applause, full set, no stop on that one. This is a great feel. I hope more storytelling like this continues.